Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon and good evening to all. So in this video, we are going to see how to create the manufacturing order. To create the manufacturing order, there are two ways. Basically, either you can go directly to the manufacturing order and create it manually. And the other one is the automation that we have done. Okay. So the automation is based on the sales, okay, sale order. So the moment the sale order has been confirmed, it would create a manufacturing order. So that depends upon the product. Okay. So it verifies that if the product is there in the stock, okay, if it's there in the stock, it does not create a manufacturing order. Okay. If the product is not there in the stock, it by default creates a manufacturing order in draft. Okay. So for example, if I show you to the product, okay, we need to configure the routes properly in order to have the automation. So this is a cutting flat disk. Okay, just for an example, we have taken this, and in the inventory, you have a routes over here. Okay, so currently the route is buy. We have set it. Okay, so in order to make this automation, we need to enable the replenishment on order, that is make to order and manufacturing, and disable the buy. Okay, so we need to define the products that we manufacture. Okay, for those products that we manufacture, we need to set the route as replenishment on order and manufacture. So what it does is, like, this is make to order. The moment you get an order, you manufacture the product. Okay, so there is another step that we have defined it over here. If the product is there in the stock, it does not create the manufacturing order for that sale order. Okay, if the product is not there in the stock, okay, it by default creates a manufacturing order and puts it in the draft. Okay, so I can show you the process as well, the automation. First, we need to create the manufacturing order, okay, manually. So we'll go to the manufacturing order. Under the operations tab, we have the manufacturing orders, and then over here we'll click new. Okay, so this is the manufacturing order form. Over here we define for which product, for which project we are creating this manufacturing order. Okay, manufacturing order can be created without the project, client, sale order. Okay, all you have to do is just select the EBOM that you want or product. Okay, you can just select the product and the product variant, and then you can create the manufacturing order as well. Okay, so the project or the sale order, the client is not a compulsory fields over here. So for now, we'll just make it for the project. Okay, so once I select the project, the client field gets auto-populated based on the project that we have configured the client. Then we need to just select the sale order. Okay, so in the sale order dropdown, it will show you only those sale orders that has been linked to this project. Okay, so that's the filter that we have provided. And for under this sale order, there would be multiple EBOMs. So in this EBOM dropdown, it would show you only those EBOMs that are linked to this sale order. Okay, so the reason why we have made this hierarchy so that it's easy for the user to filter it down. And the moment I select the EBOM, the product variant, the materials, the work order gets auto fetched over here by default. Okay, then over here we have the quantity. We can set the quantity that we need to manufacture. Basically, this quantity gets auto fetched based on the sale order. Okay, in the sale order, if there are 5 quantities that needs to manufacture or 10 quantities, it basically fetches the quantity from the sale order itself. So you don't have to enter this manually as well. Over here, we define the batch description, then we define the product status. Okay, if it's in progress, approved, and over here we define the purchase reference. So for example, if these products are the ones that we need to purchase, okay, these are all the components that are used to manufacture the wooden wall hanger. So for which POs it was purchased, okay, and was approved, basically we just for the reference we can link those purchase order numbers over here. Okay, that's the reason why we have given this field over here. Then this is the schedule date. Okay, schedule date auto fetches based on the day it has been created. Okay, you can change the schedule date when you want to schedule this manufacturing order, when you want to release this order, what's the due date that we need to um, have for this particular manufacturing order, and this is the actual completion date. Okay, so once the manufacture order has been completed, the actual completion dates gets populated over here, and over here we can define who is responsible for this particular manufacturing order. Okay, this is the company. Okay, for which company we are manufacturing. Okay, for which company this sale order was. This is the shop drawing statuses. Okay, we can define what's the shop drawing status for this. Over here, the drawing and specific reference we can provide. Okay, these are the drawings, the specifications. So basically this is the drop down for this particular project. All the drawings and the specification that has been linked to this particular project, or it all the drop downs, it would define it over here itself. This is a summary basically, and over here this is the fabrication estimated hours and fabrication actual hours, which gets fetched from the EBOM itself. Okay, so currently I haven't added this over here. No, just for the test purpose I've created all the materials over here. The reason why you cannot see this. All right, so we'll just confirm the sale order, I mean the manufacturing order. Okay, the moment I confirm this manufacturing order, over here all the configuration or the smart buttons gets populated over here. We can mark this as done. We can plan this. Okay, now that we need to plan this particular manufacturing order, we can define it over here. Plan means is that all the work orders that are associated with this manufacturing order. Okay, based on the operations, it would plan the operations based on the schedule dates. Okay, and the check availability is the smart button that we have provided, wherein it checks the availability of all the raw materials. Okay, if there is any raw material that is missing, this populates in red. Okay, so now that all the raw materials are available in the stock. Okay, so this all shows you in the green that this particular raw material is available in this physical location Texas pre-production. Okay, so all the raw materials needs to be over in this pre-production warehouse. Okay, in order to manufacture it. If it's not, then we need to just create the purchase order, purchase it from the vendor, and just attach the purchase reference over here. So that's how it is there, and then you can do an internal transfer over here, and it by default Odoo picks the wooden panel. If the wooden panel was not available and you just created a purchase order, you receive it. In the receipt, you validated the order, okay, the quantities. Okay, and once you come over here and put the check availability, Odoo by default transfers it from the warehouse to this pre-production location. Okay, so in this particular sale manufacturing order, okay, if I increase the quantity even after the confirmation that let's say there was something quantity that you need to increase, the moment you increase the quantity, the product, okay, so for one wooden wall hanger, okay, you require one wooden panel, wooden doorbell you require 20, D-ring hanger you require 3, and the screws that was required is 20. Okay, so you can change the quantity and the raw material. Okay, it raises basically based on the quantity that you're going to you want to manufacture. The moment I put it to now, if you see this changes to 46 40. Okay, so it doubles the basically the entire consumption of the products. Okay, so based on the quantity, if I put it 5, okay, it makes it based on the 5. Okay, so the wooden panel 500, D 15, screw 100. So these all the components gets the consumption gets based on the quantity that you are entering over here. Okay, so currently we just manufacture one for it. Okay, and similarly the work order timing also gets increased. Okay, though how based on the quantity that you are upgrading. Okay, 2 3 over here. So now this are been basically available. Okay, over here we haven't consumed anything. Okay, so you have a smart button over here which shows you the show details, and over here you can reserve the quantity, or you can basically put the quantity that has been done. Okay, so if there is any let's say the wooden panel, you have consumed it, you can confirm that over here. Okay, so basically it shows you that the consumption is 1 over here. For the wooden dowel, let's say you have consumed 15. Okay, you can confirm that. Okay, so over here you know how many products or the raw materials that you have consumed in order to put the welding process on. Okay, so there are two operations that I've defined over here. One is the welding and another one is the assembly station. Okay, so this is just an hypothetical example that we have taken. So in order to create the wooden wall hanger, I would require some welding and then I'll assemble this. Okay, so now over here, if you see, this is waiting for the components. Okay, basically, in this, this is the operation that was predefined in the EBOM. You can add the operations if you want based on the customization that the this particular project demands or the client demands to you. Okay, so you can always add a line and define the quantities over here as well. And in the work center over here, you define basically what's the cost per hour, what's the setup time, cleanup time that is required for this particular welding station. Okay, you can define the alternative work centers as well. Okay, over here you define the specific capacities is like for the particular product. You can define the unit of measures and what is the capacity of this welding station that it can weld for all the products. Okay, if you keep this blank for this particular work center, you can use for any other products as well. If you want to use this particular workstation, okay, only for particular a certain product, okay, which you have been defined, you can obviously add those products over here. And these are all the equipments that are required for these workstations. Okay, so you can define the equipment name, the technician, and the equipment category over here as well. Okay, under the workstation itself. And in this employee section, you can assign the employees who are working for this particular operation. Okay, so for this particular project or for this particular manufacturing order, who are the employees who are going to work for this welding station, for this welding center. Okay, the work center. You can define the workers over here. Okay, let's say I assign it to myself only. Oh, sorry, I'm not an employee. Assign to say Akshat. And you can start working for this particular operation as well. Over here you have a smart button. Open the tablet view. Over here you can define the start the timer for this particular welding station. Okay, so the moment you open the tablet view, it starts your timer that is been required in order to complete the welding station as well. Okay, you can pause, let's say if it's going for some break or something, that particular welding station, the employee who's working on this. Okay, you can pause and then start, continue. You can again continue the timer and it starts from there as well. Okay, you can mark this as done. Okay, and then once your welding is done, there is another operation that is waiting, is the assembly. Okay, so once I click in this assembly, okay, it would also start the timer over here as well. Okay, so all the operations that are defined one after another in the sequentially, you can view it over here. Okay, now this assembly is the last operation. Okay, that we have defined. There are only two operations that we did define. If you want to mark this as done, or you can mark this as done and close the manufacturing order, because this is the last step which is required in order to complete it. Okay, I'll just make this, mark this as done. Okay, and it shows you for which manufacturing order it was. Okay, I'll go to that particular manufacturing order itself from the operations. So this was the manufacturing order. Over here now, if you see in the work orders, Okay, both of them we have defined it as the status as finished because we have marked it as finished. And over here in the real duration, you can see the total minutes, okay, that has been locked against this work orders, both the work orders over here. Okay, so you can define the expected duration and what's the real duration over here. And in the materials, even though we had consumed like the 15 or just based on the wooden panel and the wooden dowel, it by default it consumes all of them over here itself, okay, as we have completed both the um, operations over here. Okay, either you can need to manually define the consumption based on the operations, or Odoo over like based on the operations. Once all the operations are done, it by default consumes all the material that were listed over in your raw material. So if you see over here in the materials, it consumed all the raw materials. Okay, over here it defines to consume and the consumed ones. Now, if you see in this list, one was already been done. Okay. So over here it defines the total number of quantities, okay, that has been consumed, and from which location it basically was picked up. You can define that once the sell order is completed. I can show you the entire inventory movements as well. So now that this has been completed, okay, I can mark this manufacturing order as done. Okay, so the moment I mark this manufacturing order as done, okay, over here it gives me a notification that you still need to do the quality checks. Okay, now we need to verify the quality checks. The quality checks you can define it based on the work orders or on the entire manufacturing order as well. Over here I have defined the quality checks on the entire manufacturing order. Okay, and how to define those quality checks, I have created a separate video for that. You can go and check out the quality video, okay, the quality module video. Over there I have defined how you can define the quality checks, okay, to the manufacturing order, to the orders that are incoming, outgoing. You can define on n number of rules over there. Okay, so there is a separate video that we have created for the quality. Now here we have a smart button. I do a quality check. Okay, I can define this as passed or fail. We'll define this as passed. And over here there is another quality check based on the worksheet. Okay, the moment I create the worksheet, open it, the worksheet gets opened over here. Okay, wherein the project over here it gets auto fetched. You can define the part description over here. So about the part description, fabrication stage, the tag number, if there was a revision, and drawing and revision number over here you can define, and these are all the dimension inspections. Okay, this over here you can define all the quality checks, that whether it was passed or failed. Define this as passed over here. Okay, so there are certain conditions as well over here. I have explained that in quality. So now over here we have defined like the action taken if rejected. You can either rework the entire the thing that is required, or else you can scrap the entire manufacturing order as well. Okay, so and if there is any comment, the inspector name, and these are the signature as well. Over here you can define the signature and confirm the date that this particular form has been accepted, and you can save this. Once it's done, you see the quality checks gets in green, that all the quality checks has been passed for this particular manufacturing order, and then you can mark this manufacturing order as done. Okay, the moment you mark this manufacturing order as done, okay, now over here you have another smart tabs that pops up over here with the traceability. Over here it shows you the traceability of this manufacturing order. okay, all the components that has been consumed over here, okay, in order to manufacture this particular wall hanger, okay. And it shows you the location from pre-production to the production um, location that was transferred, and from this production location that this wooden wall hanger was produced in this production location, and it was sent to the post-production location. Okay, so that's how the traceability works over here. You have the product moves over here, okay, which defines you from which location to which location the entire the components was moved. And once the entire manufacturing order was done for the wooden wall hanger, okay, over here from which location to which location it was consumed. So now all the red ones are the ones, the color, the components that has been consumed in order to manufacture this one unit of the wooden wall hanger. Okay, over here you have the cost analysis as well. Okay, in this cost analysis it shows you the cost of all the components that are there. Okay, and these components, the cost of the components are breaked based on the components value that we will be putting over here, the cost basically. Okay, currently there was no cost that I have assigned it over here, but then that would reflect it over here. Even in the assembly station and workstation, the cost per hour was 40, all right, and the hours that we have spent was like 0.8872. Okay, based on that it calculated the total cost as well over here. Okay, so you have a complete bifurcation of the cost of the components and the cost of the operations as well. You can print it or send the mail, the cost analysis over here. And in this there is a transfer that gets created. Okay, a transfer basically that this particular manufacturing order was created to in order for this particular project and against this sale order itself. Okay, so this is the transfer that gets created, that this from the source location, okay, the source location is the post production location, to the destination location, okay, which is our internal, basically that's then internal transfer that gets created. You can validate this, you can send the post production to the work in progress or the stock where you actually keep a stock, and from this stock it would create a dispatch. Okay, I'll show you to that in the sale order as well. Okay. So here's the entire view that you can operate the manufacturing order, right? And in the overview you can see all the workstations, okay, in the sanding station, the cutting station, assembly station, what are all the works orders over here, what are the in progress, what are the ones that are late work orders, okay, that are running behind the schedules. You can manage entire your work centers from here itself. Okay, so the moment I click to the work orders for the sanding station, so it would display me all the work like the manufacturing order. Under the manufacturing order there are operations that are linked to the standing pipes, okay, that is the workstation over here. So this defines me, I can manage all the standing pipes for all the manufacturing orders over here. Here you get direct number, the manufacturing order number for which manufacturing order this operations has been created. You can manage over here. It shows you all the to launch, in progress, and the late. Okay, in the paint station there are 16 that are late. Okay, in the cutting station how many of them are yet to launch, how many of them are in progress, how many of them are in late. Basically over here you can manage everything from the overview. Or in the operations over here, this is the manufacturing order, so it displays you all the manufacturing order that needs to be done, that has been created, and put it in draft, in progress. Okay, it's ready to close, the confirmed. Okay, so basically this is the filter that is by default to do. Okay, if I remove this, it would show me all the sale order with the done quantities as well. Under the operation you have the work orders. Okay, so it shows you all the work orders based on the operations that are waiting for the operations to be completed. Okay, so there are 658. You can define it based, you can group by based on the work centers or the manufacturing orders. Okay, so that you come to know for this manufacturing order how many of the operations are yet to be completed. Okay, so it gives you entire list with the quantities, what's the schedule date, okay, what's the status for each and everything, and then you can manage it from here with the tab view as well, tablet view. These are all the unbuilt orders, okay, and the scrap ones. Okay, how many of them were been scrapped. In the planning, you can define the planning over here with the Gantt view. Over here, it defines you all the planning based on your work orders. Okay, either you can plan by the production, okay, based on the manufacturing orders, okay, over here with the guardrails, frameworks, and then or else you can define it based on the operations that are need to be completed. So you can manage entirely. You can manage weekly. What's the schedule for the entire week for this paint station? Okay, how many hours of work are there over here for which manufacturing order it is? What's the start date, end date? What's the work centers? Okay, you can define it over here. You can group by manufacturing order. You can group by statuses as well. Okay, for the entire planning, you can define the planning based on the work orders as well. I mean the manufacturing order. Over here you can see the components that are required, which all employees has been tracking their time, or which all employees has been assigned for this particular job. You can see each and every detail under the planning section itself under this Gantt view. Okay, you can remove this all filters and just see the entire view as well. Over here, these are all the products. Okay, under the menu product, what's all the product variants. Then over here you can define here are all the equipments that has been listed over here. Okay, you can see the welding machines, how many welding machines we have, sanding machines, paint machines, cutting machines, grinding machine, assembly machines. Okay, over here all the equipments has been listed down. You can create, if you want to create any equipment, you need to create it from the manufacturing products and the equipments. Okay, over here. So equipments are also treated like separately basically, but you can treat this as a product itself. Okay, so you can define it, what's the name, then the equipment category for which company we are using, if it's been used by an employee or entire department or other, you can define for which employee this particular machine or the equipment is been assigned to or is going to work. Okay, over here you define from which vendor we have purchased it, was a vendor reference, model, serial number, the effective date, was the cost, and the warranty expiration date. Over here you can create a maintenance as well. Then we have the bill of materials, the e-bombs, and the lots and serial numbers, right? Over here, these are all the reportings that you can see with the work orders, okay, based on the work orders. Manufacturing order, over here you can see the product-wise manufacturing order as well, okay, if you want to group it by some other things. Currently, we have grouped by with the product and the schedule date month-wise. You can define it week-wise, or you can basically group by project as well. Okay, and you can change the graph view or the pivot view, basically line view. So here we have the overall equipment efficiencies. Okay, and then you have the production analysis over here. Under the configuration, you have all the work centers. Okay, the work centers are defined under the configuration over here. So you can define all the work centers list over here itself. Okay, you can create an operation as well. Then the e-bomb material status, e-bomb status, operation status, production file status, and manufacturing statuses. Manufacturing statuses are nothing but like draft, approved, and in progress, completed. If you want to add any other stage, you can add for the manufacturing. Similarly for the production, operation, e-bomb, and the e-bomb material status. So this is how you can handle the entire manufacturing module over here. I'll show you the one that the automation that we have created. Okay. Under the sales module, I'll just create a quick sale order. Second, to be, I'll add the product. I'll add the same product. Okay. I'll just define the ordered quantities, unit price has been auto fetched from the product itself, and I'll define the EBOM over here. Okay. So now if you see, this is the sale order, which is in draft state. Okay. The moment I confirm this, okay, the moment I confirm the sale order, okay, it would by default create a manufacturing order, okay, because the route that we have set is MTO and the manufacturing, okay. So over here, I can go to the manufacturing order right away, and all the fields for the project, client, sale order, EBOM, product variant, okay, it's auto filled with the materials and with the work orders over here, right? And this is a smart button for which sale order this manufacturing order is linked. Over here you can define it. Okay. You can see for which sale order this manufacturing order is linked. Okay, so that's how you can see the entire thing over here. Okay, yeah, and there is one more option that you can have is based on the quantity. Let's say this is the quantity that I've defined it one. Let's say if it was 20 linear feet or 40, 50 linear feet, and then you need to define this based on the you want to split this one sale order into multiple sale order. You have under the option, you have a split option. Okay, once I click on the split, okay, in how many orders I need to split, I can define it over here. I need to split this in 5 or 6 or 10, okay, in chunks. I need to manufacture this particular product. I can define the number of ways. If I put it 5, what it does, it now this quantity is 1. Okay, I can split this entire manufacturing order in 5 parts, okay, in the sub 5 parts. Now, as you can see, the quantity to produce over here is, it defines me in 5, in 20, 20, 20, 20, 20. And then if you want, you can define it based on your manufacturing. Let's say I want to make this 30 and the other, I need to make it 10. Okay. So I can define that and I can split the entire order. Okay. Oh, 1 second. I just put this. I cannot split it until and unless the manufacturing order is in progress. Okay. 1 second. I'll move this to in progress. All right. So all right. So I have created I've created the entire manufacturing order into 5, wherein I will be manufacturing 0.2 unit, 0.3, 0.10, 0.2, and 0.2, and which will ultimately put it in 1. Okay, the expected duration, it falls in the same way. Now if I go to this manufacturing order, okay, over here you can see the components also get splitted. Okay, so the wooden panel was 1 that was required to manufacture this wooden wall hanger. So if I split it in 5, it's 0.2. Similarly, for the wooden dowel, it was 20. It made it 4. Over here, it was 3. It made it in 6. And this was 20. That made it in 4. So that's how the entire split works. Okay. The quantity to produce is 0.20. Okay, and then you can do the same process. You can plan. You can consume the products. You can start the work orders with the smart tablet view. You can manufacture it. You can have the entire cost analysis, the quality checks, everything the same way that we have done it. And now, if I show it to you in the sale order, there are 3 delivery orders that gets created. One is like it would transfer it. Okay, there is a receipt that gets created, right, from the post-production to the work in progress stock. Okay, and then the component gets picked from this location to the packing zone, right, and then the packing slip has been created. From packing zone, it puts to the output location.
Okay, that is the dispatch location. Over here, from output location, it would go to the customer's location.
So that's how the three delivery orders gets created. This is like pick, pack, and dispatch. Like it would go on the out. Okay. In this manufacturing order, you can see the entire all the 5 splits that we have created and the source for which sale order it is. Over here, the quantity was the expected duration. Okay, the expected review duration also gets splits. Over here, even the quantity and the raw materials as well.
And also, there's one thing that you can generate the lots and serial number over here. For every manufacturing order, there could be a different lots and serial number. Now, this is a smart button that Odoo auto generates the lots and serial number. Once you click it, it would auto generate the lot and serial number for this particular manufacturing order, which would link to this particular product. All right, and you can name it manually if you want, like, okay, or however you, if you want to create it manually, you can create it manually, but that should be an unique. Okay, by default Odoo verifies if it's duplicated or not. Okay, for that particular product it would give you a warning as well, and once you give the lots and serial numbers, okay, that would be also displayed over in the list view. Now, if you see, this is a lot and serial number in the list view that has been assigned. Okay, under the sale order, that's how you can manage the entire manufacturing order. Okay, so this was the only manufacturing order that I have designed. You can assign all the serial lots and serial number over here. Okay, and the same would be reflected in your dispatch as well. Okay, in the delivery order, over here in the picking, it would define the product, the source package, destination package, and the lots and serial numbers over here. How many of them are reserved? Over here, you can define everything in detail for the picking operations as well. So that's how you can create the manufacturing order and manage it entirely. Thank you, and see you in the next video.